Viral interference and the immune system. A presentation by Professor Gershom Zaitchik, Faculty of Medicine, Hebrew University of Jerusalem. In a previous presentation, I described the clinical manifestation of vaccinia and variola interference. And you have here the link, and it was published. And now in this presentation, we continue to study or to investigate this vaccinia and variola interference. So we start with smallpox. Here you have infection of variola virus and the patient gets smallpox. And then we have the Edward Jenner phenomenon, which said that vaccinia treatment blocks smallpox. And this Edward Jenner phenomenon is an interference between the two viruses. So here you have it, infection by dependent viruses. Virus vaccinia interference with variola virus. So we are talking about class 1 viruses, and we start infecting the cell with vaccinia virus. So here the vaccinia virus attaches to a receptor, activates the provirus, and among other, the provirus creates virions which are vaccinia virions. Now, if we continue and infect the cell with a variola virus, we get attachment, and the variola virus tries or attempts to activate the provirus, but the provirus is blocked and does not produce virions, so no virions. And so this is the essence of the phenomenon of interference between the two viruses, and this explains also the clinical evidence. So we ask, here you have Wikipedia and the immune system, and we ask, what is the role of adaptive immunity in this interference? So here we have a paper, smallpox and cowpox survivors. Antiviral immunity following smallpox virus infection, a case control study. Outbreaks of smallpox resulted in up to 30% mortality, which means 70% of these people survived. But those who survived smallpox infection were regarded as immune for life. And in cowpox, we know that cowpox survivors are immune for life. So here you have it, cowpox survivor, and here smallpox survivor. So the vaccinia treatment blocks smallpox, which I call the Edward Jenner phenomenon, but adaptive immunity is bystander. The whole interference is done in spite of adaptive immunity. Obviously, adaptive immunity is activated because it is always activated when something happens. But adaptive immunity does not contribute to the Edward Jenner phenomenon. So let's here what happened before in the biology. And here you have the phage interference. The functions of the phage T4 immunity and speckled genes in genetic exclusion. They write, genetic exclusion is the ability of a primary infecting phage to prevent a secondary infecting phage from contributing its genetic information to the progeny. The two genes in phage T4 mainly responsible for genetic exclusion are immunity IMM gene and the speckle gene. So what does it mean? Here you have the experiment with phage interference. Primary phage infects the cell, triggers the provirus, and as it produces virion. But the secondary phage, which attempts to infect the virus, is blocked. And this is the phage interference. So what can we learn from these experiments? Viral interference protected life long before the evolution of the immune system. More to come. Enjoy!